Good morning. Welcome to our third podcast
It is.
of 220.
It is third. I checked. We've only done this is our third one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am very happy to start with this because I'm very happy to have our guest. I know her closely and I admire her because of all her growth. I am not going to tell her full bio because it's too long, but I met her, if we remember well, in a networking event, in a Latin networking event, and she was just starting being an advisor for RBC. And then 3 years after, she grew like exponentially, and it's so um, motivating for people in our community. We are very close, as I say. Like Meri is from Barcelona, like she's Spanish and Canadian. She has a background in communication and marketing in her country, also a business degree, and now, without further things, she is the regional manager for RBC Insurance. Welcome, Meri.
Welcome.
Thank you, Veronica, and thank you guys for having me today here.
Thank you for coming.
It's a great opportunity, and I am so excited. And I think we have a hot topic on the table today. But yes, thank you for your kind words, Veronica. I really connected with you that day, and so it's been 6 years or so.
6 years.
Oh, wow.
6 years.
Yes. And yes, so a little bit about myself. So aside what Veronica just mentioned, so I am a regional director for the Vancouver markets at RBC Insurance, and we serve about 6,000 clients in the Lower Mainland. And well, I am proud to be always empowering people and educating people about the importance of having life insurance, and that's why we are here today. A bit about myself. So I am an enthusiast, a wine enthusiast. I am an outdoor lover, and I really enjoy to as well connect with my community as Veronica does. And so I've been participating in different setups and different networking events to as well create and empower our Latin community, Latin-Spanish, because I am from Spain. And so, yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I'm willing to answer any questions you have and educate my audience today. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Nice.
You work in a lot of nonprofit organizations.
Yes,
right?
I am board actually. I am part of the board of two cultural organizations. One is the Spanish Association here in BC, and the other one is the Catalan Association, because I am from Barcelona. I do speak Spanish, Catalan, and a little bit of English. And yes, as well. So trying to always promote our culture and have diversity in BC, in Canada, which I think it's a very diverse place to be, and I am super proud of having that growth in that short period of time. And being and working for the first financial organization in Canada, actually.
Because when I met her, she was an advisor, just an advisor. She started. And then I think a year after, we went to an open house, and then she was like top one advisor in Canada. And then when I saw her again, like then she's like the director. I'm like, what are you doing? Like
Wow,
it's like
yeah, climbing the ladder fast.
yeah.
Nice
6
rubbing
years,
shoulders
yeah.
with you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a little bit should happen in your industry as well, right? It's all about connection.
Totally.
And I really think that when you connect with people and you do when they need and what they ask you, it's kind of easy to do business, right? And despite of not having an insurance background back home and not being English my first language, so I have to say I put a lot of work, right, to make that happen. But I had to say that it's all about what you do for your clients, and it's all about connecting with people.
It's true.
Yeah, and I use a little bit of my marketing background to put my name out there.
Nice.
Putting the degree at work. That's good.
Yeah.
And she's a mom. She has 2 kids.
Wow. How old are your kids?
Yeah, 2 and 8.
2 and
Oh,
8.
wow.
Yeah, busy.
Two.
Busy.
Busy.
2 boys.
Even more busy.
Yes.
Veronica knows what that's like.
Yeah,
I'm a girl mom.
I'm not busy anymore.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't remember now.
I don't know.
So I guess one of the things we wanted to ask with kind of what's happening with like the stock market, and then there's a recession in general. Do you find more people are coming to look at life insurance products as another investment vehicle, or do you find that's declining this year? Like, what are you sort of seeing for growth or
Yes. So no, definitely the insurance industry is actually growing. So it stays kind of stable with 2 years of high inflection, but definitely is growing in that sense. So life insurance policies can be actually a tool for retirement plan, a tool for growing your net worth, and a participating life insurance policy is becoming more attractive to investors, seeing that the stock market is underperforming, and so it's a more secure investment, but with great interest and with great returns nowadays. And so you can actually grow your net worth in a tax advantage way, and then use it later on for your retirement, or actually for taking out that cash value that you are building and paying for the down payment of a house. So it's a great strategy that more people is utilizing those days. And in terms of the circumstances, the recession we are living. So people feels and knows now that insurance is not a novelty solution anymore. Insurance is a necessity. And so when something as a premature death happens, or when illness happens, so what you need less is financial stress in that situation, right? So why sometimes people doesn't know about the cost. Right. And you will be surprised that it's not that expensive, but it's good to be proactive with that and seek insurance when you are healthy and young, rather than waiting when that event happens, right? Because people then sometimes they came too late, and we have some options still, but not as great as as you can as you can have. So I think being proactive nowadays with this, it's an urgency, and it's a necessity.
Right.
So,
because I think I did my whole life policy when my daughter was born, so like just over 12 years ago, and I remember it was pretty in depth, like the testing, like they check everything. So it's so the older that you get, you might have more things that come up that are going to put you in a different risk category and stuff. But it was very in depth. So I think and obviously the younger you are, then the cheaper the policy is going to be, and the faster that, if you're doing like a whole life policy, for example, that it's potentially paid off, but it's still growing in that
exactly.
In that fund.
Exactly.
Are you seeing more people go with a whole life product as opposed to a term product right now? Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, and it's our push, because it's the opportunity is absolutely there.
Yeah.
And yes, and you have a lot of flexibility. You can pay your policy in 20, 10 years, or even life pay. There is a lot of different concepts and solutions you can use to use your cash value to even pay out for the premiums for the rest of your life. So it's quite complex, but it's definitely an asset, and indeed it's called the fourth asset class, because it's a way to grow your net worth.
Sounds like it offers a lot of flexibility as well with a whole life, way more than a term policy for sure, right?
I mean, you have returns, right? So a term policy is like, and I'm going to use an analogy here with real estate. So a term policy is like you are renting, you pay for the time that you have your coverage in place. Yeah. But a whole life, it's like you are owning that life insurance. You are building an equity on your life insurance, right? So later on, it will pay of those dividends, and you can use those cash values. And if you don't use it, the thing is that you transfer on that legacy in a tax-free way.
Right.
Because people, the wealthy families, they may think, I have a lot of assets, I have a lot of investments, but there is no security, because we are seeing the interest rates going down, right? And so and there is taxation involved as well. So it's a great way to have both. The best of both worlds, having the protection while you are alive and when you pass for your family, but the ability to use that cash value is huge. And think that when you take out that cash value, there is ways to take out that cash value, avoiding the taxation.
Yeah. Right.
So we are traditionally saving for retirement with an RESP solution. But you know that at the end you have to pay taxes when you withdraw that money. Right. So people is trying to diversify, being more conscious and diversifying that as well. So having a little bit on their RSPs, because it's you have the tax deduction while you are working in your working years, but at the same time building on that other retirement plan or legacy plan. So whatever it's the case.
Nice.
if you had one thing that you had to share with the audience or with a client that you're working with, what's the one thing that you would
Well,
want to share?
yeah, I am super passionate, and thank you for that question, Diana, because people used to come and ask for life insurance, right? So I want to have life insurance, especially when they are getting those mortgages because they just bought their properties. But people is thinking always, because traditionally we think about life insurance when we pass, and it's been that mindset all the time. But I'm seeing people struggling with illnesses, with injuries, losing their incomes, not having enough to sustain their monthly bills, right? And that's a problem. And I challenge my clients, and I always say, hey, I'd rather prefer you to go with a small term policy or with a short term policy that you can convert later on, because the term policies have future life as well. So you can convert them into a permanent solution, you can extend them. So now the solutions, so insurance companies have solutions that evolve with the life cycle of a client, right? And so I'd rather prefer you to allocate few dollars on your life insurance, because the plan is not to die soon, but you are at a lot, more at risk of having an injury or an illness. And so we wouldn't be responsible of us if we don't take a look about a health solution for you as well. And so trying to work with the client's budget and allocating a little bit on that term insurance that we can change later on and have that permanent plan that is more what the client maybe wanted, but having as well the ability to protect. And I am happy when I see clients walking away from our branch with that holistic protection plan, other than, just some clients just go online, they generate a quote, they purchase the life insurance without any advice. But I'm happy because I was checking stats yesterday to be ready for this podcast, and it's still so 80% of insurance sales happen with an advisor, with a human being.
Right.
And
That's
that
good, yeah.
It's
and
good
that
to
needs
know.
to be.
Yes.
That needs to be, because it involves a lot of complexity that we understand as a specialist on the topic, but people may not know what could be the consequences. Or for instance, with life insurance, so people usually gets the life insurance with the mortgage when they get the mortgage and through the lender. But there is a lot of downside on doing that, because the lender is the beneficiary of that policy.
Right.
And clients are underwritten at time of claim, which is this is a huge problem. So you mentioned that before, when I got my life insurance, I did a bunch of testing, right? So the insurance company really reassured that they were going to pay you the claim, right, at time of death, but that doesn't happen with an insurance that you get through the lender institution.
Oh, interesting.
And that's the problem. So you better are sure you know that you are underwritten, that you do all your testing at time of application,
Right.
not at time of claim.
Right.
Because then you have the security, the peace of mind that claim will be paid no matter what happens later on.
Oh, that's some good advice.
Yeah. So in saying that, just for clarification, what would you say to someone who's getting a mortgage and insurance with a lender? Do they need both? Would you suggest both?
Absolutely not.
Okay, I just want to clarify for anyone who's listening. And
Yes. So always I suggest it's better to start with something. So if you get the insurance through the lender, that's okay. We always can revisit and make sure that you are protected. But in the meantime, keep that one in force until you have the other insurance approved.
Okay.
So that's what we always stress, right? But no, so you need to work with the overall plan of a client. So knowing and not just the lending, the mortgage insurance, so what they have through work, what they may have, maybe not, as group benefits. So you consider all different sources of life insurance and health insurance that client may have. Because I don't like to overinsure people, right? Why to pay? So at the end of the day, we are paying for something that we have a chance that will happen, right? I hope, I really hope if you have life insurance or health insurance that you never have to use that.
Yes.
So it's more of a peace of mind.
Yeah.
but it's one of those things that when something happens, you can be the most important thing for the most important person for that family at time of death, right? And so when you are suffering and when you are with grief or if you are diagnosed with a severe illness, the last thing you want is really having that financial stress added to the overall situation.
Right.
Yes.
Nice.
Awesome.
Wow. Is it?
Yeah. Well, especially I think a lot of people probably don't think about it until they have a family. Maybe I know that was my case. It's kind of like, well, something happens to me. I'm no one to really.
I even
worry about
think
now,
sometimes, I don't know, like I know Mexican people, sometimes they even think like, I don't want even to talk about it, Like
Yeah.
people get so scared with the
Right.
idea. And I think it's so difficult to explain with the importance of having it. So,
Yeah.
but you did a great job.
Yeah, I am not afraid. I know it's a difficult conversation to have, but I am always, I ask the clients. Now I know it's not the best topic to talk about, but put you in that situation.
Right.
You are losing your wife. What will happen with your kids? Would you need childcare for your kids? Because all those things are need to be considered as well, right? It's not just the mortgage that we want to protect, the payment of that mortgage. We have to talk about many things. But you are right, Ryan. So the average client, the average age that here in Canada of clients getting insurance is 38 years old.
Wow.
So probably when they are starting having their families.
What would you suggest as an age to get started?
Well, it's so first of all, health insurance as long as you have an income.
Yeah.
Because you are your most valuable assets, your
Right.
ability to gain and to make that income. So on disability, no question, as soon as you have an income. And for life insurance, there is ways to start with something and paying as little as $10
Yeah.
per month when you are young. But as I said before, giving that life insurance a future life. And so you are securing the rate and you're securing the ability of having that insurance for whenever you need it later on.
Earlier the better, right? Because
Yeah.
our kids, we started when they were born, actually, so they both have a whole life policy. I mean, I think it's maybe 50,000 each, but we started like as soon as they were born,
That's great.
Yeah.
before
That's
they
great
start
that you did
drinking or
right.
smoking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I'm late. I'm
Right.
a little bit late.
No,
Right.
and not only
Yeah.
that. So I was talking with Veronica for a personal situation just before our podcast here. So we think about what they will do in the
Yeah.
future, but nowadays, TDHD, anxiety, stress
Right.
on
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
that can actually affect the insurability
Right.
of those kids. So
Yeah.
How do they test for that though? There's tests for that now? Like
yes. So we ask the doctor's family. So we ask an APS, we ask a report, and we check with parents what was the last time that they visited a doctor with the child and what was the reason. And we have the obligation to disclose what's going on, right? And depending on what's going on, that can postpone and can decline that application for the child.
wow.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting.
But
Yeah.
yeah, get them started when they're in
Yeah.
diapers then. Yeah.
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 Thank you for
Before
pointing that out.
anxiety.
Because
Well, same thing that you said, because I know with our kids' whole life policy, like they could use that towards their education too.
Sure.
So I think in our case, up to 18, they're pretty much paid off, and then if they needed to, they can use some of that towards school. Like if they go somewhere expensive, like Diana's daughter.
Well, that's why
And you don't have to be
I'm gonna have a
asking,
box that you
You
guys
don't have to be asking
Yeah,
your
that's
coworkers for
so
that.
that's okay.
You don't have to do donation
GoFundMe.
fundraiser. Yeah, GoFundMe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The church can pass 2 boxes.
Oh
Get
my
me in
gosh.
trouble.
So that's good thinking, right?
Yeah.
And yes, definitely they can use that for the higher education,
Right.
and the policy continues. They
Yeah.
continue to build cash value, right? So it's not that it stops there, and in 20 years
Yeah.
can be paid up,
Yeah.
and it's a huge gift that you are giving to your children.
I'm gonna remind them of that when they're older.
I'm sure you will.
Make them listen to this podcast.
Make them listen. I will actually. I will.
Listen, kids.
Nice.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anything else you guys wanted to touch on? As far as
She's
insurance
answered my
goes?
question, but is there anything else Mary feels
Yeah, to share with us.
important to share with everyone who's listening?
Yeah, so well, I would encourage as a specialist and seeing people struggling getting life insurance because
Right.
we only help them to apply. the decision is not on us. The decision is after the underwriting team, does their job. And so I encourage all people, every single individual, to check to their protection plan. So, and doesn't matter if you are 20, if you are 50, if you are 60, we have a variety of solutions. You can go and talk with an advisor of your choice, but make sure that you are talking today with an advisor and making sure that you have protection.
That's a question I was going to ask. When is it too late? Because there'll be people sitting at home going, it's too late. It's too late. I'm 75. It's too late. Is it ever too late?
It is.
So what about then they can apply to those ones advertised at 12 o'clock at night on
It is.
TV.
If you have a great health, so that's a huge asset, and you can go to your 70s, still we can do something, but we can build a small legacy plan with a wealth solution. Right, so that doesn't require any underwriting, right? And we can do that as well for our clients.
Okay.
So basically, talk to your advisor because it's to RBC advisor because there is a lot of solutions that you can have, right?
Depending. There's a lot,
And you don't we don't know.
It's it's a lot of information, and it's good that you mentioned it, that you guys still go through advisors rather than like a lot of people are just relying on online stuff now. Like I know on the mortgage broker side, everybody is so like rate conscious, so they're just I saw this online and I can do everything online. But something like this, when there's so much involved, I think you need to sit down with someone and go through the options.
Of course, and to explain you everything. Properly.
Yeah, definitely. No, technology is changing the industry definitely because people, so generations X, Y, Z, I think millennials, they want and they are more online, right? But as I said, so there is so much complexity. So it's good to have that connection maybe online with someone or check and take ownership and do your homework and research about what can be a good solution for you. But at the end of the day, there is no added cost of working with an advisor. So there is no fee applied to that. So it's good to double check and make sure that you are having and making the right decision there. And so I am a social media gal, so if you want to to touch base with me, so I am on LinkedIn, on Instagram and Facebook, and so I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have online.
And we'll definitely post all the contact information for Meri on our description for the video, and if you need her direct contact, you guys can reach out to us as well, and we'll forward you her contact to her and her team.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thanks
much
for coming
for
on.
having me
Thank
today.
you.
Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you. All right. So, thanks for bringing Meri on. So she was quite insightful.
Yeah.
Great speaker.
And I guess, it's good to kind of mention that, I think, to our clients as well. Like, just it's not something that we're selling, but to kind of pass all that information.
And she works with a big group, with a big team now, and she's in charge, obviously, and they say that they manage or they have over 6,000 clients in BC. So
8 languages too. Right?
8 languages.
So
so
that's huge.
And for me, it really was amazing, like to see her growth because honestly, when I met her, she was just starting as an advisor, and then the second year, like she's the number one, and then the third year, like it's like wow, and who knows what is next?
Wow.
Yeah, pretty impressive. I guess anything you guys want to comment in general market? So, I mean, obviously it's been slower. The rates have kind of hindered a lot of stuff. So we're seeing homes are taking longer to sell. Some of our listings aren't selling. There's rumors in the market that some of the larger developers are in trouble. So it's an interesting time. What are you guys seeing out on your end?
All right, that sounded really, really sad.
Really sad.
Really sad. Thank God it's not December.
Well, I think it's tough, but I think I've seen it in my neighborhood. Like I've seen first, like maybe like 3 months ago, there were like 2 houses for sale. Now there are like 15.
Right.
But the tough thing is that I don't think people is reacting, like sellers are not reacting to that, prices, like they put houses like really high and houses are like not moving. Like
Yeah, I think people's expectations or sellers' expectations are kind of stuck in when the market was busier, and now you have to be more flexible. But you know what? It's also not a bad thing for buyers because you're not competing as much in most cases. So you're in a lot of cases you're able to get money off of the price, negotiate a little bit. There's more flexibility.
Get an
Yeah,
inspection done.
Get an
have
inspection
subjects.
actually have
Or you're dealing with a
subjects.
property that has been like, I don't know, a month in the market, which
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I think sellers aren't used to the fact that we're in a market where things are going to take 3-4 months, maybe longer now, and it's not that few weeks sale that we used to be getting, right? So, so it's not a bad thing overall. I think for the buyers because you have a higher interest rate, but then you're able to get money off of a home. Whereas before it's a lot of multiple offers and you have time to do your due diligence.
I think you're right. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just hard to relay that to buyers right now, considering there's a lot of fear out there, given the amount that they're paying in terms of interest, all the costs of just the cost of living and breathing right now. And there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to even in our real estate market with major players that potentially might be in financial turmoil, as what Ryan has touched on. So yeah, I mean, with all this negative press, October, which is typically a very, very active month in the real estate industry here in the Greater Vancouver area, is very slow this year, below historic low, beyond historic lows right now. So who knows what with the winter months hold in store, but right now it's not looking all that great. But it's also an opportunity for buyers to start looking at stuff and maybe negotiate a good deal out there. So.
Of course.
But I think for a lot of like entry level clients, the word fear is the big thing. To jump into something, and I think those are the ones that are probably holding off. Just keep waiting and hoping that things are going to improve. We don't live that far from each other, close enough neighborhood, and it seemed September on my side things picked up a bit because normally in my little area. Things don't last very long, and there were a couple, and so it seems with that, other people decided, oh, okay, let's put up a sale sign, and those ones now have been sitting there for a little while, which normally in my neighborhood within 2 to 4 weeks, it's sold, and that happened in September where there were a couple. So on my street alone, I think there was 3 in September, and then a couple other people have put up now, and those ones are just sitting there.
We're seeing that more everywhere, actually. Yeah.
Open houses too, right? Like our
open houses too, depending. I mean, some of our listings have been quite slow, like getting 1 or 2 groups. Some of them have been busy, like with the house that we have in Coquitlam is still getting a lot of traffic. But I think that sense of urgency is not there as much as for the buyers. They know they have time to look around.
But it's just this month because if you remember the one in Richmond, we sold it in 8 days.
It's a hit or miss sometimes still.
Miss.
You sometimes get phenomenal traffic and get things sold right away, but other times a lot of people that are utilizing that bidding war strategy, underpricing the listing to try to get more people in, is backfiring now. So a lot less agents are using that practice. But what do you guys think about short-term rentals and the new short-term rental?
So that news just came out. So that is not positive thing, I don't think, because especially for like downtown market, which hasn't come back yet, that Airbnb restrictions is going to have a big impact. So I think we're actually going to see more inventory from people that are now not making cash flow. And the other thing that's kind of scary is that affects like Penticton, Kelowna areas. So like we sold a project in Penticton in the summer, and that was being advertised as an Airbnb friendly building, and now they're saying that may not be the case. So hopefully some of that will get amended because like places like Kelowna and Penticton, you don't have enough property or places to stay, especially in those busy summer months, which is why they're bringing more of this product to market. But the government makes decisions, I feel, without checking all of the areas obviously in the background and stuff. So hopefully some of that will be amended, but that I think in the short term is going to bring more inventory, especially like downtown, because
it's like a negative feedback loop.
I met a lady yesterday, and she was planning to getting all organized to pack her van to drive to, I can't remember which state, because she's been looking for a place to live in Vancouver for the last 3 months and nothing. And she'd owned property, sold, and was trying to get back in the market. So she's like, I'm heading, I can't remember if it's Dakota, where she's going, to family. And she's going to live in her van for the next little while. And then she says, I'll come back maybe in next year in hopes, and try to save some more on my deposit in hopes that I'll be able to find something. So, that's a little scary. And I've known, like just for properties in general, not even talking about rentals, 3 young families that have moved to Alberta within a 1-month period.
Wow.
3 young
Yeah,
families.
it's interesting because I heard from mortgage brokers that Alberta's actually really slammed right now. Like they're getting so many new files and stuff. So it's interesting. But at the same time, I mean, people want to live here. I think
I know.
once that goes the other way, Alberta prices still have not kept pace with Vancouver. So, people move there because it's cheaper. But, having been there for a couple of years after, maybe they like, well, maybe I don't want to be here, and they want to move back. So it always goes in cycles. But I think at the end of the day, people want to live in Vancouver. We still don't have enough of the right product. So things will come back when the rates start to drop, or we're just kind of in a slower cycle. Yeah. So otherwise, anything else you guys wanted to touch on?
You've been staying out of trouble?
Yeah, I've been staying out of
Mostly.
trouble.
Mostly. Well, it's almost the end of the year, so it's it's
Well, we
crazy.
had a good year also of vacations.
Yeah. Wayne just came back from Taiwan.
Thanks for the slow market.
Right.
Yeah.
Wayne's been really
Yeah.
vacationing it up. I'm trying to catch up. Yeah.
More of a family reunion, but yes, vacationing it up. Yeah.
Yeah, this year's been good. I think we've all had a chance to take more time off, which is not a bad thing, right? So this is kind of the time to also have that balance and do the vacations and
Family
things that
life.
we don't normally get as much opportunity to do. So
If things keep up, we might have a little bit more time to spend with our families. In
Yeah,
for
there you go.
Christmas. So
there you go. There you go.
It's good.
Nice. Well,
Somewhat good, right?
somewhat
Still
good.
need the money
Yeah.
for the vacation.
well, it's always cycles, and I think it'll.
an optometry school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
definitely.
crazy.
Do you want to make
Optometry
an
school.
announcement?
An announcement?
Like
Yeah,
ask
I'm going
for
to have a
something?
basket over the next 3 months, and I'm going to be collecting because optometry school is very expensive.
Right.
U.S. dollars. Yeah, and the girl's going to be heading off next fall.
Nice.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, right?
Ah.
We find out this week,
Find out
right?
this week.
Well, we'll find out one answer this week. There's 5 more interviews to go.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So
How long is that program?
4 years.
Wow.
4
Only
years.
4
U-
years.
4
She's gonna
years
be
U.S.
asking for
dollars.
money.
4 years. I just keep saying 4 years U.S.
Yeah.
Oh my
dollars.
gosh.
Yeah, but so
I'm
yeah,
out.
we were in Chicago last weekend because
Yeah.
the girl was being interviewed, and we just made it a family thing and had some fun too. So I'll be looking towards my team members with my basket
Wow.
for sure.
I'm
Good
out
for her.
because I'm still like having to pay for things that you haven't helped. So I'm.
Oh.
No,
wow.
no.
I'll
We'll talk.
help you with the basket.
we'll
Yeah,
we'll
we'll
talk.
set up a Venmo link on the description there for
Yeah.
Diana's.
Diana. But that's good. That's good for her. I mean, that kind of obviously that's a pretty good job or field or industry once she gets into that, right? So, would she live in the States after then?
Who knows?
That's a good question. U.S. dollars can be quite
Yeah.
convincing sometimes. No, I'm not sure.
I
Maybe.
don't think she's sure. There's a lot
Yeah.
can happen. in
Yeah,
life.
a
Yeah.
lot can happen.
Yeah.
A lot can happen, and yeah. So we'll see.
Right.
But yeah.
Congratulations.
So maybe I can
Yeah.
rent a
Congrats.
room.
Uh-huh.
That might be,
Perfect.
Talia, if you're watching, I might rent your room.
Yeah. Got to do what you got to do. It's 4 years of U.S. education.
U.S. dollars.
So there you go.
Right.
And talking about rent, I might have a room, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we'll leave it at that, and then hopefully we'll do. I think next month we're gonna have on. Do you want to just do a quick intro for the next month's
Oh,
one?
next month will be interesting.
Yeah.
We are going to have a psychotherapist
Nice.
as our guest. So we'll talk a bit about the stress that's been happening, just not here in the world, with people. And so next month we will have Bernard, and he's going to meet
That
with
will be
us.
nice.
And so we'll come prepared with our questions about stress and why Ryan stresses
Yeah.
us out so much.
I'm not
And
gonna.
We should
hopefully
deal
he
with
can
him.
help part of the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
So-
gonna talk that whole interview in case he analyzes me. I'm just gonna sit here and be like,
No, I
No
think
questions. No
you
further
know,
questions.
real estate is not just about purchasing a home or selling a home, because what are we dealing with? People. And what are the effects? What are the things that affect
yeah.
us?
Well,
so,
for Bernard too, I'm interested because outside of real estate too, just with all the stuff that's happening in the world, and like you said, Christmas time and stuff. There's a lot of like depression and stuff outside of it, and it's interesting to see his take of what how people cope with not just you know, the Christmas season, but what's
Yeah.
happening in the world. I
In
mean,
the
anytime
world,
you turn
yeah.
your phone on, it's like
It's something
insane,
bad.
right? So
Yeah.
I try to.
So get your
Avoid.
friends and your families to tune in. For
Yeah, that would be
December.
good. That would be
Yeah,
good.
it should be
So we're
good.
going to do the date for that. We'll let everybody know soon. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Great.
Beginning of December.
otherwise,
Thank you
thank
so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.